Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So I just want to do a quick video for you today demonstrating this window security film in action. Now this is not the 3M security film. There are far more expensive options that you can explore, although this one is not really expensive, but it's not really that cheap either, depending on how much you get. It ranges between $50 to $100 Canadian. And basically you get a significant length of this window protective film. Now what this is going to do, this is not going to, of course, prevent burglary. What it's going to do is it's going to deter. In the same way that extra deadbolts and locking systems on your doors only slow down the process of a break and entry, this is going to do the same thing. It's going to buy you a bit more time. It's likely going to confuse an intruder who's trying to break into your home by a window and hopefully discourage that burglary or home invasion from progressing. This is going to basically make what would probably be 1 or 2 whacks. It's going to turn it probably into 5 to 10 whacks with a hammer or a glass breaking tool. Now I tested this out on a screen door in which the glass around the edges was not very deeply embedded into the door itself. So although my test wasn't as good as I thought it should have been, I will still say that it's probably going to perform a lot better on a normal door, even a patio door, where those windows are probably more deeply embedded into the wood or the metal or whatever the rest of the door is made of. And of course the thickness of the glass is going to be a factor here as well. Now I got the clear 8mm security film. I'm going to read you a quick product description here. Basically they say that 8mm thickness offers excellent protection. You can trim it to fit your windows with an X-Acto knife. One of the things I'm going to talk about is that this is rather tricky to apply, and I didn't really have the best setup in terms of cutting it to the right size, which led to some problems. And because it's rolled up, it makes it even harder to cut to the exact size. So it would be nice if they sold this custom made to fit the certain size of your window and maybe even charged a little extra. It would be worth paying the extra amount if you can get custom sizes already pre-made and didn't have to cut it and trim it on your window. So unmatched transparency and optical clarity, 99% UV rejection, and I can attest to that because it's very clear. You can barely notice that it's on the window. Absorbs impact from break-in attempts, minimizes property damage, hold shattered glass together. So I would say for that last one there, it will most certainly hold the shattered glass together. If it wasn't a break-in attempt and you just got a baseball through your window or something like that, it wouldn't be able to come through your window. Essentially all that glass is going to remain in place. It will still be shattered, but it's not going to break. It's not going to create a huge mess for you to clean up, although you're still going to have to knock it out of there. But we'll get to that part later. I was able to pierce through there with a decent blow. Then it finally shattered there. Now, it's definitely going to minimize property damage, so if nothing else, if you didn't want to board up your windows or you didn't have shutters and you live in a hurricane-prone region or a tornado-prone region where there's intense plow winds or something like that, then this could most certainly help to minimize property damage. Now, in terms of break-in attempts, like I said before, this is going to only deter. This is not going to prevent somebody who is determined and had an ample amount of time and wasn't worried about making a lot of noise. What this is going to do is it's going to take a lot longer for them to get through, and they're going to potentially hurt themselves. Now in the demonstration you see here, I have it taped to the window and it all just gets knocked out. Like the whole window eventually just pops right out, and it actually pops out pretty clean. But granted, this is just a screen door window. So these windows are very thin, they're very cheaply made, and I think the window probably only embeds maybe a centimeter at most into the actual door. So it's not surprising that it just popped right out like that. I could see a normal door performing much better. Mind you, that is theoretical, but this might buy you some peace of mind. And indeed, there are numerous window security films on the market that you can explore and do your own testing with. But I would say that for the price, I think it's worth it just to have a increased deterrent. You put your 3-inch nails through the lock receiver plate into the door frame. You can also check out the night lock. That's a great door deterrent. We have those installed at our home. This is just one more thing in addition to your security cameras and things like that that are going to make you a much harder target and much less likely to be messed with. And of course, we have our puppy now, who's already doubled in size in the last month, and he's going to be a really big dog, so he's going to be a really good guard dog for us to have around the house. Now, in terms of the application, having 2 people to apply it is going to be helpful. I wouldn't say it's necessary per se, but having somebody else do the spraying, and it was actually easier than I thought, because like many of you, you've probably tried to apply those screen protectors on your cell phone, and if you're like me, you always get at least 1 or 2 air bubbles in there. It's very hard to get it perfect, and I thought that this would be very difficult, but as long as you make sure you clean the window off really good and you follow the instructions and you make sure you liberally spray the soapy water solution on the film, and just don't hold back with that, spray as much as possible, that's going to provide you more wiggle room to ensure that you get it on there nice and flat and that there's no air bubbles and that it actually looks relatively good when you're done. And well, hopefully it's not going to look like anything. That's the whole idea with this stuff, is that it really is an invisible extra layer of deterrence for home security. I should also add that these adhesives are designed for indoor use. You don't want to put it on the exterior because obviously somebody could just peel it off. It'd be much less effective essentially if you put it on the exterior. Now, if you applied it to both sides, maybe that would give an extra layer of protection, but then even though it's 99% clarity, yeah, there's more room, of course, for bubbling, and usually doing exterior windows can be a bit more challenging because there's dust flying around that's going to get caught in there, and any little tiny particle of dust can lead to a sizable, noticeable air bubble. So something to consider anyways. So I'm going to post links to a couple different varieties of security film, including the one that I've tested, in the description. So you can get this stuff in Canada or the United States. So I will post links to both in the description. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.